नमस्ते दोस्तों, कैसे हैं आप लोग? आई होप वेल एंड गुड. Because you know what, that is the most important thing that matters. Guess what? I invited Craig from Anfield Agenda on my channel again. अगर तुमने पहले वाला वीडियो नहीं देखा तो मैं लिंक यहाँ डाल दूंगी. अगर तुम्हारा मन है देखने का तो तुम वो देख सकते हो. आज के वीडियो में वी आर डिस्कसिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स, तो वीडियो एंड तक जरूर देखना. एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक दिस वीडियो, सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल, हिट दैट बेल आइकन से नेवर मिस अ वीडियो फ्रॉम मी. एंड ऑल्सो क्रेग के चैनल का लिंक एनफील्ड एजेंडा डिस्क्रिप्शन में है नीचे, वो भी जाके चेकआउट करो. And that's it. Let's just get into the video. It's been almost, I think, 7 to 8 months that we last met. So
Wow,
welcome to the channel. I
that's
know it's
flown
been,
along. I didn't think it was that long. Wow.
yeah, it's really that long. And in that period of time, we have won a Carabao Cup, and it's been really good, I think. And that also brings me to my first question. I'm going to start it right away. What are our chances of winning the quadruple? And I'm not going away with it. I'm not really into my head right now, but I just want to ask you this.
It's a big task, isn't it? It's wow. What's the chances? I dare not believe. No, not believe. That's not the right phrase. Dream. I dare not dream just yet. Amazingly, the one that I think we'll struggle most with is the league title, because it's so close, and Manchester City are a juggernaut that can just brush teams aside. So the fact it's in our own hands at the minute is good. If we could go to the Etihad and we could beat them, then it's in our own hands. So, the quadruple. I've kind of psychologically prepared myself for a double. So I don't know about the quad. We can do it, of course we can, but it hasn't been done because it's very difficult. And I don't know. I wouldn't be overly confident, but again, it's great to dream. We're in this position because the guys have worked so hard, and you've got to dream when you're in this position. If you can't believe, then what's the point? But oh God, that's a tricky question. How about you, by the way? How are you feeling about it?
You know what, when as soon as that, after that Tottenham versus Manchester City game, and Tottenham won that game, and I'm like, all right, we are back. I mean, I was totally into that place that we can do it, we can win it, we have the chance, we have the hope to do it. And hope is enough for a Liverpool fan, that we know that we can go and do it. That is enough for us. So I was just into it, but then I realized that if City can lose points, there is no way that Liverpool can't. So obviously, even we can lose points, we can have a draw or something, because we have very important games ahead. So that got me thinking that let's not go ahead and let's take everything game by game. So I'm not even thinking about it, which is why I wanted to ask you what you think about it, because it's very difficult to answer.
Yeah, when you look at the fact we've got 10 or so games left, we've won the last 12 games in a row in all competition.
Hmm.
You start to think to yourself, how unfair is this, that if either team drops points, that could be it. Both teams are capable of going on this amazing winning run. I'm very confident for the Champions League. I have been all season. I look around and I can't really see many teams that I feel are better than us in the competition. Of course, it's possible because, it's a knockout competition, but I think we'll win the Champions League. We've won the Carabao Cup. And let's just see what happens with the rest. I mean, fingers crossed. We got a good draw in the FA Cup. We'll know, we'll know later tonight who we play in the FA Cup. My wife is a Nottingham Forest fan, so I hope we get Nottingham Forest.
That'll be a good match to watch when it comes to it. You should bring your wife on the channel when it's Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. I think I would love to watch that narrative of how that turns out to be.
She won't come on. I've tried so many times. She'll talk in the background, but she won't come on camera. Yeah, my daughter has, my son has, but my wife, she won't come on. So maybe this could be the one. Maybe this could be the one.
Absolutely. All right. And that brings me to my next question, and that is that Sadio Mane has scored almost 12 goals till now, and he has been scoring in Champions League as well. And he has been having a pretty good season. But it still seems like that that his season is not good enough. Means, do you think that there is something like that? Maybe because Mohamed Salah is so damn good and Jota is scoring as well. But yes, Sadio is having a good season, but it just seems like he does not. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I can understand why Sadio may feel a little bit annoyed, because it looks like everybody's contract renewal is on hold until Mohamed Salah's gets sorted out. We know that Sadio Mane has just come back from winning the AFCON, player of the tournament. He scored some important goals for us recently, obviously the goal against West Ham that got us the 1-0 victory. And I can understand why Sadio Mane might feel like he's being a little bit unfairly treated because he has been a massive part of our success. I would love all three of the guys to get a new deal. I know I'm greedy and I know that it's probably not possible, but can you imagine going into next season with Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota, and Diaz? And excuse me, Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota. Yeah, sorry, five. I was just making sure I didn't forget one. With Kate Gordon coming through, with Takumi Minamino still there, I think Sadio deserves to get a new contract and a pay increase. And, you know, it's no accident that we've got 1, 2, and 3 in the top goal scorers in the Premier League. That speaks volumes. So I can understand why Sadio feels a bit upset. I really can. And I feel for him because I feel like he deserves more credit than he's getting from certain parts of the media and certainly certain parts of the fan base.
Absolutely true. Means that is something that we don't see usually, the fans and everybody, making a narrative about how good Sadio Mane is, but it's always about some player or the other, but not about how good he has been in that false nine position. We don't have Fabinho, and Jota was injured, but still in that position, I think he, outshined himself. I think I did not expect that from him, falling deep and getting that goals for us, getting that balls for us. So I think that he has been phenomenal as well. But thank you so much for answering that. And that brings me to my next question. And we have to talk about Luis Diaz. It just feels like he was always there. It just does not feel at all that we got him. Like he just 6, 7 matches old. It feels like he was always there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was very late to realizing and understanding how good this guy is. I mean, some other people on our channel were saying to me, this is the perfect signing. And as soon as he came in, like you've rightly said, he looks like he's always been there. If you went into a factory and built a Jurgen Klopp type player, it would look like Luis Diaz. He is absolutely phenomenal. And I love that he's a pest. And by that, I mean, he doesn't give anybody time on the ball. He's always challenging and he's always looking to do stuff in tight areas. I love him. He reminds me very much of an early Sadio Mane.
Absolutely, so quick on the ball. And when there are the decisive moments, he knows what to do and very good with the ball. He retains the ball so well. And like I said, he fits there in that position. And love to see Luis Diaz and what he brings in the team, because there's that X factor that you don't know what he can do with it. He surprises you in every game that he plays in. So it's really fun to see Luis Diaz. What do you think about, going into the season? We have FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League, but going into the season, how important are Thiago and Keita for us? Means in that midfield.
Hugely. I'm so relieved to hear Jurgen Klopp say that Thiago was back training since Sunday because he sets the rhythm in midfield. There are very few footballers in the world that can dictate the pace of a game of football. He's one of them. We're very fortunate to have him and to have Naby Keita there as well, somebody who with fleet of foot, with a good yard of pace, can break a line. If we're playing a low block team, Naby Keita isn't afraid to burst into the penalty area. And it also addresses the left-hand side because when we have Fabinho, Elliott and Henderson doesn't really fit in on the left. He's much more comfortable on the right-hand side of a midfield. His relationship with Trent and with Mohamed Salah has been phenomenal. So to have Thiago and Naby Keita available on that left-hand side, their relationships with Sadio Mane, with Luis Diaz when he comes in, and with Andy Robertson, I think it is important because these relationships around the pitch, knowing what your teammates are going to do, anticipating their movements, I think it's key. And I feel much more comfortable knowing Thiago's available tomorrow. Much, much more comfortable.
Yeah, I understand when Thiago and Fabinho, I think the way they have been in the midfield, it's so strong and so good to see that. If you remember in the first leg, we started with Harvey Elliott in that Inter Milan match. But as soon as Klopp made the changes, because we couldn't have the control after the second half, once the second half started. So we got Henderson on, we got Firmino on, and Henderson in that midfield, I think completely changed the game for us, and we got the goals that was required. I think Harvey Elliott was just too early to start in the match. I think we should have gone for more stability. And also, I want to ask you, what do you think about Oxlade Chamberlain? Means is he still, does he have that flair still? Do you see him, signing another contract with Liverpool and staying with Liverpool for many more years? Because I just don't see that same Oxlade Chamberlain that he should have been after the injury.
It's so difficult, isn't it? Because we know we're in a situation where Oxlade Chamberlain and Keita both have 1 year to go after this year. And if I had to give one of them a contract, it would be Naby Keita. The problem I have with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is he's a lovely guy, very good around the squad, really well mannered, But I still don't know after all these years what his best position is or how he has a future long term in our starting 11. I can see that with Naby Keita, but with Oxlade Chamberlain, I just can't figure it out. You know, James Milner's different because we know we can play left back, central midfield, he can play right back, he can play anywhere. And he brings that experience and that winning mentality. But Oxlade Chamberlain, I don't really have any criticism of him, but I don't know how best to utilize him. So I
Hmm.
think he might move on, but it's so difficult. What about you? What do you think?
I think I agree with you what you are saying. You know, if there is somebody that I have to pick from Naby Keita and Oxlade Chamberlain, I'm going to go for Naby Keita because I see, what Naby Keita brings, even with the defensive duties that he does and going forward with the ball, then he carries the ball so well. And when they are playing deep and narrow, then we know that Keita can enter. He'll find that space and enter in their penalty box, which we need, which we so need at times. But when it comes to Oxlade Chamberlain, he will have moments in the game, and there are very few moments that he will have. But if he's playing for Liverpool, I would want to see him play at least one good game where he is the man of the match. But it just doesn't work that way. He'll have a moment or two in the game, and I don't think that that is the kind of player that we could see until and unless he improves, until and unless he finds what is the position that he actually plays in. I think even he doesn't know that, what is the position that he's perfectly suited for in the Liverpool squad. So I think there is a bit of indecisiveness right now when it comes to Oxlade Chamberlain. I think moving forward, I think he can do better. Maybe we can offload him, because that when next season, like we were talking about this, Mane, Firmino, and Mohamed Salah, their contract is going to expire. So who all are we going to sign more? Like, we need new fresh blood in the team as well. We need to sign players as well, and Liverpool doesn't do that as much. And we know the history with FSG, whatever happens with that. That also brings me to my second next question to you, that since Mane, Firmino, and Salah, and you told about it, that there is a whole thing going on with Salah's contract, so Mane seems to be forgotten. So, and what do you think? Can FSG retain all three? It's very unlikely that it will happen, but do you think that we can retain all three?
Could we do it? Yes. Will they do it? I'd be very surprised. You look at the age profile of the players that we've brought in. Jota, 25. Diaz, 25. We're bringing in Fabio Carvalho, most likely, in the summer. That deal seems to be in place. So his future seems to be as a false nine. At least that's what I've been told and what I've read. So then you do look at the caliber of the front three, and you know what? They're all players that I think could play to 32, 33, 34, particularly with Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane. They're extremely fit, extremely healthy. They look after themselves. They live a great lifestyle. But we know that our owners don't like giving long-term deals to players who hit the age of 30. So there's going to be some difficult decisions made. I think I think two of the guys may stay and one may move on. I just keep going back and forth between Firmino and Mane and which one it should be. One week, I think Firmino should move. The next week, I think Mane should move. I'm just very glad I'm not making these decisions because we're emotionally invested in these guys. They've been part of our best period supporting the club. You know, we've seen them do amazing things. We want them forever, but there are going to be difficult decisions, and I'm so glad I don't have to make them. I really am. I'm so every week that goes by, I'm just thinking which one is going to go, which one is going to stay. Will it affect the knock on? And the value as well is important here because all these guys have 1 year to go. So we're not going to even see their market value. So what I would like to do, and it may not be the right thing, but I'd like to renew them all and then give them a year and see what happens. And whichever one or two show decline, at least you've protected the market value and maybe move them on then. But right now,
Hmm.
we brought in Diaz, so that suggests somebody's going because Origi, we have an option to renew Divock Origi's contract by 1 year, but he has to play a certain amount of Premier League games. I don't know what that number is, but from what I've read, I don't think we'll do enough. So he's got to go for free. Then we've got Taki. He's starting to show promise. He's scoring some important
Hmm.
goals in the cup. Such a difficult decision. I honestly, I want to go and hide under a rock until it's all sorted out because we are emotionally invested, and I love these guys, and I don't want any of them to go.
I absolutely agree. Let alone making the decision, I can't even answer the question if asked. I can't even make the decisions. Imagine that is the kind of players that we have. And the thing is that you get emotionally invested in them. So it's very difficult to see one of them go. And that's why it's very difficult to make a decision on it. But in this summer transfer window, what are the areas that Liverpool should target in, investing in players?
I would start off with somebody to back up Trent on the right side. Nico Williams will most likely move on permanently. He'll want to get regular game time and he'll want to keep his place in the Welsh national team. And I understand that wholeheartedly. If Connor Bradley is viewed as the successor to Trent, that's okay. But from what I've heard, I think the club believe Connor Bradley's future may lie in midfield. So somebody to help out Trent at right back. Now, it's easy for me to say this, but to try and sell a new right back, the club knowing that Trent's there ahead of them, is going to be a very difficult decision. But we got it right on the other side with Costas coming in to back up Andy Robertson. He's been fantastic. So that area, midfield, I think, depending on who moves on and the Jude Bellingham situation, because it looks like Bellingham might stay one more year in Dortmund. If he stays that year, do we play the waiting game? We know that if Jurgen Klopp wants somebody in particular, he will wait. And then we have to see what happens with the front line. So right now, a midfielder, because I don't think we haven't replaced Genie yet. So I'd like to see a midfielder, a versatile midfielder, a right back, and then depending on what happens up top, because we have to keep in mind Cade Gordon as well. He will be brought into the first team fold. So I won't expect many more than maybe one or two in the summer after the Diaz transfer, because that was supposed to be for next summer, but Spurs did us a massive favour.
I agree. And when it comes to it, I think that can we also have a signing, or can we look for some players for a CDM position as well? Because Fabinho has been flawless. But there is Tyler Morton. But Tyler Morton also needs to get game time, and we need to give him that confidence, because see, Kelleher got that. And now I see Kelleher performing at that level. That Ellison wala level, and he's getting that exposure from Ellison, from the other goalkeepers that there are to provide him that assistance. But then I would like to see Tyler Morton there, because Tyler Morton showed promise in the matches that he played. So I seriously like the guy, and I have a lot of confidence in him and Kate Gordon and even Connor Bradley. But Connor Bradley, I see more as like a wing back than as a fullback. But Trent has just done such an amazing work that we start to compare everybody with him. So that is why it gets very difficult to see, understudy for Trent Alexander Arnold. But then I think we have to keep that separate, because Trent is one of the best right fullbacks in the world right now. So we can't just compare that. We need to think it from other perspective, a fullback perspective who can make the forward runs, and then we'll have to look for somebody. But I think that Simicus and Robertson, like you mentioned, we got that perfect, and I'm really happy with that. Now the next question is, which are the players that we must offload in this summer transfer window?
Ooh, God, this is where I become ruthless. I don't like the idea of James Milner renewing his contract on the same money or more money than he is currently on at 37, when he will be 37 by the time that contract will expire. He's on, I think, £140,000 a week, which is 7 million a year. That could go a long way to investing in other players. So I think Milner will get a new deal, but I would move him on. I would move Alex Oxlade Chamberlain on, Nico Williams on. The interesting one for me is going to be Joe Gomez. What happens there? Because Aston Villa are interested in Joe Gomez. There seems to be some talk that Joe Gomez isn't happy with the playing time he's currently getting. And he's been very unlucky, because Matip stayed relatively injury-free all season. He's been phenomenal. Ibrahima Kanade has come in at 22 years of age and already shown that he is a phenomenal defender. But Joe Gomez is only 24 and he's so experienced, but he's been very unlucky with injury. So if Joe wants to move on, I would say let Joe go. But do you bring back Nat Phillips, or do you go out and buy a replacement? Because I don't think we have one ready to come through yet. Looking at the younger players, Reece Williams, I don't think Reece Williams will make it, if I'm being honest, at Liverpool. Billy Comedio, Sepp van den Berg is an interesting one, actually, because he's done really well at Preston. Preston fans have been singing his praises. So Adrian will leave when his contract runs out. Origi will leave. Who else? I think that might be it, you know. I can't really think
Hmm.
of anybody else apart from the forward whom we don't know yet. Because one of the three will probably go, but I don't want any of them to go, so I don't even want to throw a name because, as we said a few minutes ago, it's a very tough decision. What about you? Who would you like to see? Or not like to see, because that's a very harsh phrase, because we like these guys, but who do you believe we may see move on?
I don't like to answer this question, but I I don't know. I think that it's going to be Sadio Mane. I think that Sadio Mane is going to be the person who can do, because we have Luis Diaz right now in the squad, and we know that Sadio Mane seems unhappy, like you mentioned as well. So if we can cash out on a player right now, I think it's going to be other than Mohamed Salah, and I don't think that we are going to let go of Mohamed Salah. So I think that out of Firmino and Sadio Mane is going to be the player who can get us more, value, market value. So if I'm going according to that, I think it will be Sadio Mane, even though I know how important Sadio Mane is, and I would love it if he stays and if we can like retain the all three players. But I think it won't happen. But if there is somebody, I think Sadio Mane might leave. Very difficult decision to make, but that's what I think. That's seriously hard, but let's see if that happens or not. I wish that FSG can retain all of them, but then I think after some point of time, if they don't perform, we'll the one criticizing that. We should have brought fresh blood. We should have gotten out in the market and looked for somebody else, because that's what happens. We are very recency biased sort of fans. So when there is no recency going on, when there is no goals, we don't see goals, and also that is when we start to judge the players and the decisions of the club. But it is us who wanted them at the first place. So let's see if that happens or not. But one very important question, and the last question of the video, and that is Jurgen Klopp. So there have been little talks that about his contract. He may renew, he might not renew, and if it's going to happen or not. But let's just go with that he may not stay with us after 2024, whenever his contract expires or whatever. So who is it that you think should take the baton and go ahead? Because you see, we saw with Bill Shankly, when Bill Shankly left, and it was Bob Paisley, one of the members of the squad, one of the members of the team itself, who took the baton, and we know what he did. So should it be somebody who's already experienced with the tactics, with the way the team plays, and that is Pep Linders here? If he should be the manager of the club, or should we bring Gerard, or should we go with somebody totally different?
Yeah, this is the $64,000 question. I like the idea of Pep Linders, but there's one part of managing a club like Liverpool that we can't just ignore, and that is the marketability, the attractiveness of the manager to other players, to sponsors. And I don't know if Pep Linders would have that mass appeal to be able to attract players to a football club. I think Pep Linders is a better coach than Steven Gerrard currently is, and I would love to see him there. But Jurgen has been able to attract the type of players that we want, install a philosophy in the club. He's been very marketable for the club, very good to put out in front of a camera. Steven Gerrard comes with the history. He does have that gravitas that he could attract players to the club, but does he have the coaching history? Not yet. The market, the jury is still out on what happens at Aston Villa with Steven Gerrard.
Hmm.
And then there are other options, maybe, what happens with Hansi Flick when he leaves Germany? What about the likes of, God, Pochettino, as an example? I would like to see somebody come in with a similar philosophy and style to Jurgen Klopp, because if we were to bring in a manager, let's go back to say Rafael Benitez as an example. The type of players that we have aren't really set for the type of football that Rafa plays. We have a high intensity, high energy group of players. So, yeah, I do believe one thing, though, and that is that Jurgen Klopp truly believes and means it when he says, we will leave the club in a better position than when I arrived. We are looking for the long term, and any signings that Jurgen makes now will be almost a gift for the next manager if he comes in. Now, we all hope that Jurgen has a change of heart and would, take a new deal. And I know from reading many articles from the Athletic and others that the owners would happily put that contract in front of Jurgen tomorrow if he wanted it. But they
Hmm.
are also respectful of the toll that managing a club like Liverpool would take on somebody's health and their relationships at home and that kind of stuff. So I think it'll ultimately come down to Jurgen Klopp. I think Jurgen Klopp will probably have a say in the next manager as well. Um, but yeah, if I was to put money down, it would be Linders and Gerrard. But I want them both for different reasons. I want Linders' coaching ability, but Gerrard's marketability and leadership skills. So difficult because I don't want to think of a Liverpool without Jurgen Klopp.
Hmm. Now, what if it happens that way that Pep Linder stays as the coach and we can bring Steven Gerrard in, and he will have Pep Linders to guide him in the squad for the team. I think that'll be even better when it comes to it if Jurgen Klopp is not there. But I think the best thing that could happen to us is that Steven Gerrard is coaching Aston Villa right now. That's another Premier League club, and he will get a lot of experience and exposure to guide this team. And let's see where he goes, because he started the season very well with Aston Villa, considering they had five straight losses. And with the way they started the season, I think it was very, very good. But if he continues to do that and gets more experience, I would love to go with Steven Gerrard as well. But Pep Lender seems to be the right person right now. If that happens, which I don't want, and I don't even want to think about it, because right now things have been pretty good and solid for us. And let's hope that Klopp, has the change of heart and stays forever till the time that we can afford him and we can have him with the squad. So that's what I would want. But thank you so much for tuning in. And let's hope that the next time we meet, we have more trophies in our hand. Because the last time we met, it was after, if I tell you, it was after we beat Manchester United by 5-0. That was the time that we met the last time. And this is the time now we have Carabao Cup in our hand. And let's hope the next time we meet, we have, I don't want to jinx it, but the trophies that we need right now. So I hope that happens with us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you bringing me on again. I hope that people enjoy the video, and I hope that next time we speak, we're, as you said, talking about a lot more trophies in the cabinet.
Absolutely, guys. The link to Craig's channel is in description box below. Go and check the channel out. You're going to love it because it's all related to Liverpool, and it's going to be really, really good for you if you really follow Liverpool. That is it. Thank you so much for coming. Please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon so you never miss a video from me. Thank you so much for watching. Namaste, and thank you so much, Craig, for coming.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Natika. Have a lovely day. Bye. Bye
I
bye.
just